ওসমান হাদিকে যারা হত্যা করেছে তাদের বিচারের দাবিতে এই মুহূর্তে রাজধানীর শাহবাগ ব্লকেট করেছে। অন্যদিকে শাহবাগ থেকে মিছিল নিয়ে ছাত্র জনতারা প্রথম আলোর অফিস ঘেরাও করেছেন। প্রথম আলোর অফিস ব্যাপক আকারে ভাঙচুর করে প্রথম আলোর অফিস ভাঙচুর করে কিন্তু সামনে সেই
Bangladesh is witnessing its most dangerous unrest since the July Revolution of 2024. At the center of the storm is the killing of one man, Sharif Osman Hadi. His death has not just triggered violence on the streets, it has also pushed India-Bangladesh relations into a fresh crisis. So who was Sharif Osman Hadi and why has his killing turned into anti-India violence across Bangladesh? Sharif Osman Hadi was 32 years old. He emerged as a prominent youth leader during the July-August 2024 uprising that ended Sheikh Hasina's 15-year-old. That uprising reshaped Bangladesh's politics and Hadi became one of its most visible faces. He was a key organizer and spokesperson of Inqilab Manch. This was a radical political and cultural platform born during the protests. It claimed to represent the so-called July warriors. These were the activists who led street mobilizations against the Hasina government. Hadi was known as a frontline mobilizer. He worked closely with student groups. He addressed rallies. He framed a sharp political message. Anti-establishment, strongly nationalist and openly hostile towards India. After Sheikh Hasina fled to India, Inqilab Manch gained political momentum. It moved from protest politics into power politics. It pushed for the dismantling of the Awami League. It accused the party of tyranny and human rights abuses. In May this year, the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus disbanded by the Awami League. It barred the party from contesting upcoming elections. That decision deepened political fault lines and it gave platforms like Inqilab Manch more influence. Hadi was preparing for the next step, electoral politics. He announced that he would contest the February 2026 parliamentary elections as an independent candidate from Dhaka's Bijoynagar. His campaign message was very clear: finish the revolution, eliminate what he called fascist remnants, and resist foreign influence. India was repeatedly named as that influence. And then came December 12th. Just a day after Bangladesh Election Commission announced the election schedule, Hadi was shot in central Dhaka. According to police, 3 attackers on a motorcycle opened fire in the Bijoynagar area in the afternoon. Hadi suffered a gunshot wound to the head. He was rushed to Dhaka Medical College Hospital. He was put on life support. As his condition worsened, the interim government airlifted him to Singapore. For nearly a week, he remained on life support. On December 18, Hadi died in a Singapore hospital. And that is when Bangladesh exploded. Muhammad Yunus addressed the nation. He declared a day of state mourning. Flags were lowered. Nationwide prayers were announced. Yunus called Hadi's death as irreparable loss. He warned the killers of strict punishment and he urged citizens to remain calm.
আমি আপনাদের সামনে হাজির হয়েছি অত্যন্ত হৃদয় বিদারক একটি সংবাদ নিয়ে। সিঙ্গাপুরে চিকিৎসাধীন জুলাই গণঅভ্যুত্থানের সম্মুখভাগের অকুতোভয় যোদ্ধা ও ইনকলাব মঞ্চের মুখপাত্র শরীফ ওসমান হাদি আর আমাদের মাঝে নেই। ইন্না লিল্লাহি ওয়া ইন্না ইলাইহি রাজিউন। কিছুক্ষণ আগে সিঙ্গাপুরের পররাষ্ট্রমন্ত্রী ভিভিয়ান বালাকৃষ্ণন আমাকে টেলিফোনে এই হৃদয় বিদারক সংবাদটি জানিয়েছেন। ফেসিবাদ ও আধিপত্যবাদ বিরোধী সংগ্রামের এই অমর সৈনিককে মহান রাব্বুল আলামিন শহীদ হিসেবে কবুল করুন, এই দোয়া করি। আমরা সবাই মিলে এই দোয়া করি। শরীফ ওসমান হাদির এই অকাল মৃত্যুতে আমি গভীর শোক ও দুঃখ প্রকাশ করছি। তার প্রয়াণ দেশের রাজনৈতিক ও গণতান্ত্রিক পরিসরে এক অপূরণীয় ক্ষতি। আমি তার রুহের মাগফিরাত কামনা করছি এবং শোক সন্তপ্ত স্ত্রী, পরিবারের সদস্যবৃন্দ, স্বজন ও সহকর্মীদের প্রতি গভীর সমবেদনা জানাচ্ছি। শহীদ ওসমান হাদির স্ত্রী ও একমাত্র সন্তানের দায়িত্ব সরকার গ্রহণ করবে। শহীদ শরীফ ওসমান হাদির অকাল মৃত্যুতে আগামী শনিবার একদিনের রাষ্ট্রীয় শোক ঘোষণা করছি। এই উপলক্ষে শনিবার দেশের সব সরকারি, আধা সরকারি, স্বায়ত্তশাসিত প্রতিষ্ঠান, শিক্ষা প্রতিষ্ঠান সহ সরকারি বেসরকারি ভবন এবং বিদেশে বাংলাদেশ মিশনগুলোতে জাতীয় পতাকা অর্ধনমিত থাকবে। একই সাথে আগামীকাল শুক্রবার।
But his words did not calm the streets. Within hours, thousands poured into Dhaka. Protests turned violent. Arson followed. Buildings housing Bangladesh's largest newspapers, Prothom Alo and the Daily Star, were attacked and set on fire. Journalists were trapped inside burning offices. Firefighters rushed in. Soldiers were deployed. Publications had to be suspended. This was not random rage, it was a targeted anger. The violence spread further. Cultural institutions were attacked. Awami League properties were vandalized. Symbols linked to Sheikh Hasina and her family were once again set ablaze. And then the focus shifted to India. Protesters raised slogans accusing India of sheltering Hadith killers. Political groups claimed the attackers had already fled across the border. Calls were made to shut down the Indian High Commission in Dhaka. Marches were organized towards Indian diplomatic premises. Anti-India slogans dominated the protest. Leaders openly declared confrontation. From India's perspective, this is where the crisis deepens. There is no evidence presented so far that Hadith killers are in India. Yet India is being blamed publicly. Accusations are being weaponized on the streets. Bangladesh's foreign ministry summoned India's High Commissioner. It demanded cooperation. It asked India to prevent suspects from entering Indian territory. It also sought extradition if they had crossed over. India in turn summoned Bangladesh's envoy. New Delhi condemned attempts to link India to the killing without proof. It also expressed concerns over threats to Indian diplomatic missions. This standoff is unfolding against a fragile backdrop. Bangladesh is being run by an interim administration. The Awami League is banned from elections. Political polarization is extreme. Institutions were under strain. Human rights groups have raised alarms, and elections are approaching. Sharif Osman Hadi's killing has become a trigger, but the anger goes deeper. It is about power. It is about unfinished political battles, and it is about using India as a convenient external enemy. For India, the concern is very clear. Violence directed at diplomatic missions is unacceptable. Accusations without evidence are dangerous, and instability in Bangladesh directly affects regional security. The coming days will be critical when Bangladesh's leaders can restore order, whether investigations stay credible, and whether anti-India rhetoric is allowed to spiral further.